I'm recording this session, so if you have questions that you don't want recorded at the end, let me know and I'll stop the recording. Thank you for coming today to Real or Not Real, Can You Spot a Fake? In honor of National Data Privacy Day. We really appreciate that you're coming today. A little about CyberWyoming. We don't sell hardware, software, or technology services. We're a nonprofit organization and we are a 501c6. And the CyberWyoming Alliance is a 501c3, which is a traditional nonprofit organization. In Wyoming, we have three main focuses. Our programs address education and outreach, workforce development with technical apprenticeship programs, and economic development. We have a lot of organizations and companies joining this effort. And these are just some of the community-minded organizations that help us with our mission. So let's get started about phishing. Right before the game, I wanted you guys to know that the biggest statistic to call your attention to here is that 91% of all cyber attacks start with a phishing email. Depending on the source, this could be a few more or a few less, or a few less percentage points, but most studies put it somewhere in the 90s. So let's get down to see if you can spot a fake. Now, while you're looking at this fake, what I'd really like you to do, there are 15 answers, is go ahead and type in the chat. We did this with a Rotary Club and it was really fun, and put in whether you think it's real or not real when you see this. And your chat, if you're not familiar with Zoom, your chat is at the bottom of, it will be on your Zoom controls, and it will be, it might be under more if it's abbreviated, but it will be in the chat. So okay, good. Okay, so is this real? Was what people are saying. This is social media. This is on Facebook. And the first thing I want to tell you is that it is not real. And the reason you can tell it's not real is because we actually had, this is during COVID, and we actually had a vendor in the Gillette here. The scam started in Gillette and then it ended up going to Cheyenne. And so somebody that normally participates in the Gillette American Legion craft fair every year called the American Legion and said, hey, how come your prices went up? And what are we doing about COVID-19 for the craft fair this year? I still want to participate. And the lady at the American Legion started to do some research and found that the same scam was happening in Cheyenne as well. So social media, and not only did this super sleuth in Gillette find out that it was happening in Cheyenne as well, but it was also happening in Pennsylvania. And she tracked down this Florence Mark Hillary and reported him to him or her to authorities in Pennsylvania because she believed that he lived there. So good for her, right? So is this real or not real? This is a text. And all of these actually were reported by Wyoming citizens. Fake or I wouldn't bite. Good one. Okay, so this, you're right, this is not real. And a good way to realize it's not real is because it came from auto tech detail experts, but it's about Red Bull. A lot of car wrap scams have occurred lately. The FTC has put out a lot of alerts about car wrap scams since COVID has occurred because people are out of work and they are looking to make money elsewhere. Okay, is this real or not real? I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, Tyler thinks it's real. Real, but I wouldn't click on the link. That's smart. So this actually is real. But it looks a little suspicious because at the bottom it says your email subscription, AT&T and DirecTV reserve the right to contact you via email. If you didn't know that DirecTV was owned by AT&T, it might be a clue that it wasn't real. Also, one of the pretty known scams quite often is that they don't use your name. They'll just say hello customer or something like that. So this generic greeting is also a warning sign that it may not be real. However, this one actually was real. Okay, is this real or not real? Real, but I wouldn't click again. Probably real, no urgent call to action, but I wouldn't click. Okay, good. That's perfect. Okay, so this is actually not real. And it's a scam that's coming around again. It's from newsletter@techandtech.com. And they also sent something about a Medicare plan, an Amazon plan, stop renting, Netflix, Sam's Club. And this scam just came through again from 4 different email addresses that are probably related to the newsletter techandtech.com. In January, it's recycling. And all of the emails, also another clue is they were sent between about midnight and 4 a.m. our time. So we know they're coming from the other side of the world. And every one of these has a suspicious link behind it. Okay, is this real or not real from the Apple Store? Fake, fake. Okay, you guys were really quick on that one. You're absolutely right that it was fake. It actually came from no_rep@flax.com. And if you look at some of the highlights that I have here on the screen that are underlined, some of the wording isn't quite right. All right, is this real or not real? Not real. Somebody said fake. Okay, you're correct. It's not real. There is no Diamond Tech listed in Delaware. You can kind of see it at the bottom, very close, but it says this email was sent by Diamond Tech, 73 Green Tree Drive, Dover, Delaware, 19904. And there actually is not a company at that address in Delaware that is called Diamond Tech. So that was pretty easy to figure out there, but good job. All right, is this real or not real? Your McAfee protection will expire soon. All right, Mandy thinks it's fake. Anyone else? Fake. Okay, that's correct. It is not real. And the reason we knew it wasn't real, partially, was because the user that sent me this said that he doesn't use McAfee antivirus protection. And it also came from this smugsolid.net address. Okay, is this real or not real? And that's a really good point about that last one, Tyler. Playing on our emotions, urgent call to action, addresses don't match. Good points. All right, is this one from Amazon real or not real? Okay, Mandy thinks it's fake. Tyler thinks it's real with no links. And then I wouldn't click on the attachment. Okay, so this is not real. And here's another variation saying that your account will be suspended, follow the attached document. And here's another variation, and these all came within the same month. And they all came from different email addresses that are super duper long. Here. So be sure to check those email return addresses. Those will give you a clue, but there are also some spelling issues in some of those that if you read closely, you might be able to see it. Okay, is this real or not real? Okay, Mandy says it's real. Any other guesses? Yep, Tyler says it's real. This is real. St. Mark's was spoofed by us actually in Cheyenne, and they sent this out to their constituents and their members saying, you know, it wasn't us that was trying to get data. We have no current campaign. So it was in relation to somebody who had been impersonating them. So it's happening even close by. It's not just Amazon and, you know, some of the other and DirecTV and things that they're trying to spoof. It is our churches that affect us as well in Wyoming. All right, is this real or not real? Mandy thinks it's real. Any other guesses? So at first, when I looked at this, I thought it was not real. And Tyler says it's hard to tell without seeing the address line. So I'll show you the address line. It's from Stephanie Freeman at 2020census.gov. And so I still wasn't sure after seeing 2020census.gov because those can also be spoofed. So I actually called the Dallas Regional Census Office, not using this number, but using looking it up myself, and asked for Stephanie Freeman and asked her if this was real because I wasn't sure if it was or not, and it was. Usually the government does not email you. And so when they were emailing us about the census, it was kind of a red flag for me, and I was worried about it. But I actually did check this out myself, and it was real. All right, PayPal account is under review. Is this real or not real? Okay, Mandy says it's fake. All right. Always cautious of PayPal stuff. Not real is what Tyler says. You're right. PayPal is one of the top attack vectors, and this is not real. You can see that from the actual email address that it came from. And you can also kind of give yourself a clue here because there's some miscapitalizations, there's some missed punctuation, missed spacing. So that is definitely a clue that this is not really PayPal. Okay, is this real or not real? From CenturyLink. Okay, Mandy thinks it's real. And Mandy is right. Ding, ding, ding. This is real. They can make, one of the things to point out here is they can make, even though it says www.centurylink.com/myaccount, they can make any wording look like any link. And it is kind of odd. Tyler says that it is kind of odd that they have tabs from the website in an email. It is absolutely odd. And it's also odd that it's so generic. It's also odd that they sent a security code through the email. So that's actually what tipped off and made somebody suspicious and sent this over to CyberWyoming. But this actually is real. We called and checked and made sure that it was real. Very odd. I think that marketers really need to think about their emails and what they send out. Because if it's a real email and you're suspicious of it, they're defeating their purpose. All right, is this real or not real? The United States Census Household Pulse Survey. Mandy says it's real. Never heard of it. Fake. So I was with you, Tyler. I thought it was fake as well, but I called my friend Stephanie Freeman at the census, and this was real as well. Again, the government really needed to think about this because, you know, the IRS does not email you. The FTC does not email you. The DEA does not email you, but the Census Bureau emails you. And to me, they were opening themselves up for hackers. So I agree. I was pretty suspicious of this, but this was actually real. All right, here's another text that we need. Is it real or not real? Fake, says Mandy. So this has an official sounding agency with an official sounding title. So Agent McCarthy from the Home Improvement Grant Office. It mentioned one of the recipient's friends. See here, it says redacted, sent a text to me saying you want to apply for a grant from our board. So that merited some trust. There was a sense of urgency, it pulls on emotions, and it tells you to keep a secret. And the fake 2 billion is also a clue. Now, this obviously is not real, but somebody in Cheyenne actually did fall for this. And it was mostly because she thought her friend had recommended her to this agent, Thomas McCarthy. So be aware of that one. That's a really good one to be aware of. All right, this one is just pathetic. I thought you guys probably needed, it obviously is not real, but I thought you guys wanted to see some that were so bad that anybody should be able to see it. And I do think it is pretty pathetic. And then the second one is, this one must be a Harry Potter fan, because this is Ron Weasley, senior technician, Ron W, from tests at ispservices.com. When I saw that, I really laughed because I'm also a Harry Potter fan and I thought it was pretty funny. So both of these are a little bit pathetic. So now you have all this practice. How do you communicate it to the rest of your team? So I would suggest using cyber psychology. Talk to your employees about the risk factors. Hackers know that you're a lot more likely to click an hour before lunch and an hour before you leave for the day. So be extra aware of those times. Don't rush through your work to be more productive at those times. Slow down. The number one trait to click is actually impulsiveness. So if you're an HR manager, one of the things you might want to ask new hires is, do you impulse buy at the checkout line? If you do, then, and it's still a great hire, don't worry about it, but ask them to really work on their spidey sense for email addresses. You might want to actually train them a little bit more on phishing emails. A friend of mine says to read every email in a bad fake Russian accent because it makes you a little more suspicious, and that's true. The second risk factor is if you live alone. And this is mostly for personal emails, but it's also a really good thing to talk to your employees about. Because if you live alone, you're less likely to talk to somebody about something that your spidey sense might be clicking on a little bit or thinking about a little bit. But if you have somebody to talk to in your household, especially in these COVID days, you will be less likely to fall for one of these scams. And the third one is lower financial literacy levels. So anything, Blue Federal Credit Union right now is offering free webinars on financial literacy. So anything you can do to encourage your employees to really understand their finances and take charge of those will also help you protect your company. So what's next? If you want a copy of this game for your company, we would be happy to share. Just contact us at info@cyberwyoming.org, and I will be happy to send you a copy of this presentation, and you can play it with your employees. And if you want to find out more about games and fun ideas for common sense solutions to small business security, we have a great free program, Wyoming Cybersecurity Competition for Small Businesses. Don't let the word competition intimidate you. The intent is really to make it fun, but it's just free one-on-one training that focuses less on tech and more on creating security-aware people. In fact, the other day, a business signed up and said, I don't want to compete. And I said, no problem. We'll just forget to send your judge's report out. And she said, okay. Program starts on February 1st. The faster you sign up, the easier it'll be. You can go at a more leisurely pace. This is an opportunity to be trained, to be walked through topics like phishing and creating phishing trainings and policies afterwards. You get hand-in-hand support, and you could possibly win and get tons of recognition. And it's totally free because of our members and sponsors. And you see their logos down at the bottom here. Kelly was really nervous at the beginning of the competition, but at the end, she's really confident about how to manage her company's security efforts. And her company took second place last year. So thank you so much for attending our real or not real phishing game. Let me know if you would like to have that the presentation to do at your company, I'd be happy to share it with you. And I'm open for any questions.